Have you ever tried a jury trial?
I have not. No. No.
Bench?
No. I have not. I would, I'd be struggling to remember. I believe no.
This is a lawyer, and he was a judicial nominee by Trump. He had no idea what he was being asked. He had no knowledge. He had no skills. Let's talk about skills as a lawyer.
Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Delphine and I am a lawyer. I want to talk to you about the skills that you need to be a lawyer. The first skill to have is good communication skills. Sadly, some people think that you have to be an extrovert to be able to explain yourself or to be able to talk in public. You do not need to be an extrovert. There are many introverts that are doing so well in the area of law. In fact, research shows that 65% of lawyers are introverts. So as long as you can read the law and understand the law, which is a strength that comes with being an introvert, you can actually explain the law. So if you can read the law, understand the law, and apply the law, then you might not have to do too much speaking. At first, it might be a bit daunting to stand in front of people and speak. But then your confidence would have grown even before you started practicing. Even if it doesn't grow before you start practicing, by the time you have your first case, your second case, maybe little direction cases here and there with some supervision, you'll be okay. You will be fine to speak in longer cases. So you might start with a 30-minute case, and then before you know, you're having 7 days, 31 days hearings. You don't need to be the best speaker. You don't need to talk so much. Some people think that being a lawyer means you have to talk on end. No, not necessarily. If you expend all your time talking on end, who's going to do the paperwork for you? Some people actually think that you cannot be a successful lawyer because you're an introvert. Far from it. We all have strengths. There's so much from actually withdrawing into yourself and thinking. That way you can open your mouth then and actually communicate. So communication and being an extrovert do not go hand in hand. All you need to do is know the law. As long as you're able to research the law, you can apply it. It was Lord Denning that said, God forbid that any lawyer should know all of the law. The main thing is that you know where to find the law. So you must be able to research. You must be able to undertake work. You must be hardworking enough to be able to apply whatever case law is out there, whatever statute law is out there to your case. Then you will open your mouth and speak. I find that if I do not know, then I'm not confident to speak. It's different from someone who is speaking and just speaking without any substantive thing in their speech. So if someone just opens their mouth and speaks for 1 hour and they say nothing that is useful, it's very different from someone who actually speaks for 2 minutes and answers the questions. You answer a question straight on, you get the full marks. But then if you stand up and you're speaking for 3 hours, you're rambling, people are actually lost and they're wondering, is this actually a good lawyer? It's being able to communicate to your clients. And that takes me to the next skill, which is client care. As long as you are able to take care of your clients, they will come back. You do not even have to advertise. People will tell people. And when people tell people about your business, people will trust them better than reading about you in a magazine, or reading about you through a flyer or however, or going online and telling people how fantastic you are when nobody really knows how fantastic you are. One person just says to the other, I know this good lawyer, I used her services, she was perfect. Believe me, that other person will want to use someone who has been tried and tested. So client care is very important skill as a lawyer. You definitely need to be able to speak to your clients, to email them, to text them, to write to them, to let them know how things are going. You can be the best lawyer, but then if you don't communicate to your clients, they would never come back. Client care is a very important skill that you must have as a lawyer. If you're not friendly, start getting friendly. It's not about shouting and being so out there. It's actually listening and actually showing that you are paying attention to the needs of your clients. And that takes me to the next skill, which is listening skills. Some people sadly have no listening skills. They will talk the whole time and not listening. And I'm going to be making another video where I talk about the strengths of an introvert or the strengths of an extrovert as lawyers. So different people have different strengths, but let's stick to today's video. Listening skills. If you don't have listening skills, you are going to be in big trouble. If you go into court and the judge is talking to you and you're not listening, you're going to be talking about something else. Your client is going to be wondering. If you have no listening skills, you cannot be a good lawyer. If your client tells you A and then you do B, the client is going to be complaining to everyone. Or your client says, I want you to write a letter to my wife, and then you write a letter to the client's father. You haven't listened. Or you then call the client back to say, who did you actually ask me to write a letter to? And what was it that you were saying? The client is going to be saying, oh, I don't need you to represent me anymore because you're not listening to me. When clients come to you, they want you to listen because they want you to be able to solve their problems. And if you're not listening, then you can never solve anyone's problems, even your brother or your sister's problems, because you're just going to be moping at them and you'll be far away when they're actually breaking down and telling you where it really hurts them. So the clients come to you for solution. The only way you can prefer a solution is by you listening and actually listening attentively. Also, if you're a litigator, you must listen because you need to think on your feet. So if you haven't listened, you're going to be talking about something else, and the judge is definitely going to be upset with you because you're wasting the court's time, you're wasting the party's time, the party's money. You're not listening, you're not following directions. With law, you must abide by court orders. If you're not listening when the judge is speaking, you're not writing, then you're going to have a problem remembering what the judge said, and then you will follow no orders and you'll be in breach of the court rules. So let's talk about you having good judgment. Do you have good judgment? If you want to be a judge sometime in life, then you definitely need to have that skill. To be a lawyer, you must be able to judge people. Sometimes people are actually lying to you and you can tell. You can tell because you have done this for such a long time. And except for that, you're someone who actually listens to your inner self. You listen to what people say, see, and to a person's body language. What I mean by listening is actually you're listening to that inner self and you know when someone is lying. So say, for instance, you're a litigator and you're talking to someone in court, you're cross-examining them and they're lying to you. If you don't have good judgment skills, you would not be able to pick out their lying and your client is going to lose the case just basically because you couldn't ask the right questions, you couldn't shake this person's evidence, and then you couldn't make proper submissions to say why you believe so strongly that they were lying. So you've not listened, you've not researched, and you actually now have no judgment at all. As a lawyer, you must have good judgment. Sometimes your client will lie to you. If you have good judgment, you'll be able to discern. Also, you always are making judgment in a client's case because you're making decisions for them. They don't pay you for them to make decisions. They pay you to make decisions. Yes, you do not just go by your decisions. They always have to approve your decisions. But then if you don't tell them what your decisions are, or rather, if you don't tell them what the judgment is, then they cannot make good decisions. So it's very important that you are able to make good judgments. So I talked about research skills. Yes. Lord Denning said, if you do not know the law, you must know where to find the law. Well, it goes without saying that you must read books. Everybody knows that lawyers read. If you do not like reading, you need to get reading now. You need to start programming yourself to actually stay still and read. Because you're going to have cases where you will have to read all night to be able to represent a client in court. And also you will need to find strengths for a client's case. You must be able to differentiate their case from a particular case law or from a particular scenario. So if by a previous case law, it is said that a person who kills someone must be put to death themselves, say in a jurisdiction where the penalty for killing someone is death, the main thing is that you must be able to research and differentiate your client's case from this other case. It might be that based on your research skills, your clients do not face the death penalty, but then maybe they just go for life imprisonment. Did I just say maybe? Did I just say just go? I know. Life imprisonment to some people is like the death penalty. But the main thing is that you're able to research, differentiate your client's case from another case, and then get them a lesser penalty. Based on your research skill, you're able to prefer a solution to them, you're able to put the right cases before the court and to differentiate their cases from the other cases. It doesn't always have to do with litigation. You do have to research. Just to write a letter to another party, you cannot just say, "Dear sir, I'm writing to you because I'm a solicitor. You must stop doing what you're doing." No, you must be able to tell them why they shouldn't do what they're doing. You must be able to find relevant case law, relevant statutes. They are in the books, and if you don't read the books are not going to read themselves. Then how do you apply the law, and how do you solve a problem? The next skill, decision-making skill. You must have writing skills and logical thinking ability. And this is where a lot of people actually then feel, I cannot be a lawyer because I cannot think on my feet. Thinking on your feet might not come naturally to everyone, but then if you're listening, if you've done your research, if you actually have good communication skills, then you will be able to think on your feet logically, because you do not have to do a lot of thinking when you know the law. So for instance, if I know the sanctions that my client is going to face at court for what they have done, I definitely know why I'm there. And I would know what the other side is thinking, because I would be thinking about the defense, but I would also be thinking about the claim. So if my client is the defendant, I already know what the claim is. I know what the claimant is going to be saying, and I know what my defense is. So it only makes sense that while I'm standing there, nothing is going to be a surprise, because in my head, I'm acting as judge, as jury, as defendant, as claimant. It's not science. You need to think on your feet, but thinking on your feet comes with you being logical, with you listening, with you researching, with you knowing how strong your case is or how weak your case is. That way, there is nothing that comes as a surprise. You are able to stand and to try to defend the case, or you are able to stand and to try to get the judge to decide in favor of your client, the claimant. Skill is know-how. So if you do not have a particular skill, all you need to do is work on that by knowing. If there are skills that you do not have, this is the time to acquire those skills. And if you already have these skills, you can perfect them. Knowledge is power, and the more you put knowledge to practice, the more power you have, the better you become, and that is skill. Basically, it is know-how. So thank you so much for watching, for subscribing, and thank you for your likes, for your comments. And let me know what other skills you have as a lawyer, or skills that you think you don't have that you need to build. Bye for now, and I'll see you in another video. Bye-bye.